We are talking about our best books of 2024. This is our reading wrap up for the year. We're going to start with our favorite adult book, and mine is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This book follows three main characters, Elvar, Varg, and Orca, as they travel around. One of them is fighting with the Bloodsworn, one is with the Battlegrim, and one is just trying to live out her life quietly on a homestead with her husband and her son. So this is the first and in the series. I loved this book. I've just finished The Hunger of the Gods. This is one of the last books that I read this year and the best.
And my best book this year was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I do not have that one because I loaned it to my other sister, but Two Twisted Crowns was right behind it. This was my favorite duology that I read this year. Just finished it in November and December. Most people know what this is about. If you don't, it's got a great magic system where they use Providence cards. There's a limited number of cards, and if you own a card, you have a certain level of magic. It's one of the most unique books that I've read this year. It's very gothic fantasy, very atmospheric, but the characters are wonderful.
My favorite young adult book that I read this year is Into the Sunken City, and it is a heist treasure story, dystopian. It was lots of fun, and it was set on the water. It was fantastic. I loved it.
My favorite YA book this year, I reread Legendborn because I needed to read Bloodmarked, and it did not disappoint. I needed to be ready for Oathbound, which comes out, I think, in March of next year. So I read both of these this year, Legendborn and Bloodmarked, and it continues the story of Bree and the Arthurian circle that they have, which is set at UNC Chapel Hill, and all of the magic that goes on there. Great series. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it for YA and adults.
My absolute best middle grade book that I read this year was The Skeleton Flute by my friend Damara Allen. And this is a Pied Piper retelling. His family's falling apart. His parents are going to get a divorce. So he meets this strange man in the park, and he is given a skeleton flute. And he makes a wish thinking it's going to make his life better, but it turns his world upside down.
And my favorite middle grade book this year was The Bletchley Riddle by Ruta Sepetys and Steve Shankin. They are two great middle grade authors, and for them to combine was just awesome. It's about Lizzie and Jacob, who end up working at Bletchley Park during World War II. Jacob is working on the riddles and working on the Enigma code, and Lizzie is running errands and messages back and forth. So it's kind of got like a historical, it's also got an adventure, and it's a really great, great book.